Hohe Vertreterin, das Wort ist Ihres für 5 Minuten.
Israel and Iran have exchanged attacks for 5 days now. The escalation we see is extremely dangerous for many reasons, including civilian casualties and the risk of radioactive spillage. The impact of the crisis on global energy markets is also a risk. The conflict has already triggered the largest oil price surge in a single day in 3 years. As President von der Leyen has said, the EU stands ready to coordinate with partners to protect market stability. This morning, I chaired an extraordinary Foreign Affairs Council to discuss the situation in the Middle East, including Iran. Ministers called on all sides to abide the international law, exercise restraint and avoid actions that could spiral out of control. Iran is still the main source of regional instability. It is one of the most repressive regimes of the world. The EU has always maintained that Iran must never be allowed to acquire a nuclear weapon. Last week, and for the first time in 20 years, the International Atomic Energy Agency declared Iran in breach of its non-proliferation obligations. Israel's attacks, while they may have set Iran's nuclear program back, cannot so easily erase Iran's know-how, technology and intentions. Diplomacy will always be the best way to address Iran's nuclear program in the long run, and Europe stands ready to play its part in brokering a deal. With regards to the immediate fallout of the conflicts, we discussed what the EU can offer in terms of practical support now. What was also clear from today's meeting is that we will not let the new crisis overshadow what is happening in Gaza. We are now 20 months into conflict triggered by the horrific attacks of Hamas. Israel has the right to defend itself, and Hamas should immediately release the remaining hostages. But Israel's use of force in Gaza, the continuing deaths of civilians and the targeting of civilian infrastructure go beyond self-defense. Israel's actions cannot be justified under humanitarian and international law. At the last Foreign Affairs Council in May, it was clear that the majority of the member states were in favour of opening a review of Israel's compliance of Article 2 of the Association Agreement. Article 2 imposes binding obligations on the parties to observe human rights. This review is underway, and I will present the outcome to the foreign ministers already on Monday. At the same time, the EU continues to work on all fronts to provide the support to Palestinian people. We are still the largest international donor. Our humanitarian funding for this year alone has been €170 million. And since October 2023, the EU has helped transport close to 5,000 tons of humanitarian cargo into Gaza. I've repeatedly spoken to the Israeli Foreign Minister with a plea to allow into Gaza the humanitarian aid without interruption and resume ceasefire. The answer to aid being weaponized is not to block it, but to flood the region with so much of humanitarian aid it cannot be misused. And there is more than enough to do this. But the humanitarian situation is still deteriorating. 3 warehouses were recently opened in Gaza, but only one is now accepting new deliveries. The world is desperate to help. The amount of aid is not the problem. The access is. Honourable members, the Middle East is burning. Military aggression is unrelenting, and the anger seems to be unstoppable. The short-term consequences of fire between Israel and Iran could delay Iran's nuclear efforts. But there is no certainty that Israel will get what it seeks in this way. Likewise, in Gaza, it is perfectly clear for all to see that military means will not provide the solace that the Israeli people are looking for. It has not resulted in the liberation of hostages, and it has now endangered the entire population of Gaza, causing unjustified human suffering. The European Union must do everything we can to push for diplomacy, meet humanitarian needs where we can, and stand up to the values we were built on. Thank you.
For more updates, follow us on Facebook, subscribe our YouTube channel, get the latest update on www.daily-sun.com.